Hello, this is Edith Neumeyer, and I am the author of the book, The Mystery of Adam. I'm going to talk to you today about definitely a great deception of the end times, and that is extraterrestrials or aliens. And I want to just kind of talk about whether we can find this topic or if we can find aliens in the Bible. Does the Bible talk about aliens? Now, why aliens? Because we've been really slowly indoctrinated to believe that there's aliens. I mean, this has been coming about since the probably Second World War with movies and also information, not public information, but people who are claiming to have encounters with what they call aliens. And of course, at first, we thought that aliens are, or not we, but people that had this encounter and people who were searching for these unidentified flying objects, UFOs, they were thinking that these aliens, these creatures from who knows where, come from other planets. And that's really what we've been taught quite a lot through films and movies. And so that was our thinking for a long time. But very many Christians also studied this phenomenon, and they came to the conclusion that maybe these aliens are not necessarily from other planets, but they may just be from this earth. And lots of people now think they are more from another dimension at this point. I saw this really great video that I put on my Facebook group, Great Deceptions of the End Times, called Alien Adoptee Explains Why You Should Never Contact Extraterrestrials. It was a very interesting movie by a person who was an abductee and who also has investigated this these aliens, for a long time. So he's been researching in this field for many, many years. And I think it is the best interview I've really heard, because this person, he didn't seem to be a Christian, but he clearly talked that these aliens most likely are not from another planet, and he doesn't believe that they came from another planet. He believes that these aliens are hybrids or are created using human and animal DNA, and they were created. He didn't use the word avatar, but I have used that word before, as avatars. I don't know if you are familiar with this movie called Avatar. If you're not, it's a good idea to watch it. It's a great movie, okay? But it also gives you interesting ideas. And in this movie called Avatar, people went to a planet, and they couldn't communicate. I mean, they wanted to communicate with the people, or the people that lived there, and they only could do that by creating like a body that was similar to theirs, and they transformed their soul into that body, or that biological, it's a body, it was a body, biological form, okay? And they switched their brains, or their, really it's the soul. They switched their soul into that avatar. And by doing that, they could be in that avatar as a human being. And I hope you understand. Watch the movie and you can understand what's going on. Because I believe very, very seriously that what's going on with these aliens that people have an encounter with, and I'm talking about these grays. There's the small grays and the larger, taller grays, not grays, I think whites. Sorry, I just got up. But anyways, and then there's some other ones. But he mentioned again that there's that these are really created bodies or created aliens. And of course, then you have to ask yourself, who is in these aliens? And that's what I am trying to say with this avatar. Are these aliens created to be a body for demonic forces? Okay? Because demons do not have a body, and therefore depend on a human being or on even an animal to become active. So my question is, did these fallen angels, have they been creating these avatars for the demons? And now these demons are doing the dirty job for these fallen angels. Fallen angels that have been on this earth. Of course, we call the leader of this fallen angels Satan, has been on this earth for a long time. But their stronger activity has been happening, well, I would think for a long time. Because see what happens, in the olden days, these demons, or these, whatever people call them, they were still interacting with human beings. We have a lot of information, written information, about people that were tortured or that were mistreated by demonic forces in the olden days. But people nowadays put it away as craziness, okay, as craziness, or as unreal fairy tale stuff. But when in reality these things did happen. But in our days, let's say for about the past 100 years, this alien idea became very normal, in a sense, for humankind. And so when we see these aliens, these grays and these greens, people really believe that these are not demonic forces anymore, but that they are from another planet. Okay? This is how things have changed. In the past, we knew, or the people then, they had no other way than saying they're demons. Okay? And which they were. Now, then, there was a time when all that stuff became nonsense. We were trained to believe that all this stuff is nonsense, this religious stuff about Satan and the devil and demons is nonsense. So they threw it out. For the biggest, longest time, it didn't exist because science did not allow us to even think about it. But of course, these abductions continued, which already happened a long time ago. They were abductions, okay? When women were bothered by these entities, they were still abductions. But then in our today's age, I would think since 45, 50, people now are getting to the point where they can say, hey, these aliens are from other stars and they're now coming to visit us. But who is really behind it has never changed. The same entities that did the abduction in the past are now doing the abduction again. And this video really opened my eyes to, didn't open my eyes, but really showed me that other people had that same experience, that these entities are not necessarily from another planet, that these entities are nothing but avatars, and who maybe inside is the same entity that has been bothering humankind from the beginning. We hear about these things before the flood of Noah, and the reason why God destroyed humankind. See what happened before the flood. The fallen angels, they created hybrids with human women. So in other words, that's what they said. They intermingled the DNA of humans and these fallen angels, okay? Because the Bible says that the fallen angels, they had relations with the human women. And out of that came what they call the Nephilims. You can read that in Genesis, the time before the flood. Enoch, the book of Enoch, also gives you a very good account. I know lots of people say, well, that's not inspired. People, when you learn about history, you don't learn about history in history books. You learn about history in history books, okay? The same thing, when you learn about history, it doesn't matter how far back you go. You learn from history books. And Enoch, the book of Enoch, is such a history book. It's not something made up, okay? It's not storytelling. It's not fairy tale. It's a historical book. If you don't want to accept it as an inspired book, at least accept the book of Enoch as a historical book, okay? You have to accept historical books. You can't just throw them out. How do you know they're true? There is some kind of trust there, that you trust a historical book, okay? So it is with Enoch. Enoch isn't a historical book, and it needs to be accepted as a historical book. Okay, and Enoch tells us a lot about these fallen angels. Fallen angels having relations with humankind. Out of that came a hybrid called the Nephilims. And the Nephilims, when they were killed, okay, their soul could, of course, not. Their soul was in between. They could not go into heaven, and they could not. They had to stay on earth. And that's what we have as demons, okay? Demons, they're wandering souls, in a sense. And these wandering souls of these Nephilims, they look for a host. And of course, in the past, they looked for human beings or animals as hosts. We saw that during the time of Jesus cast out demons because they came into human bodies. They still do that today. But I believe the fallen angels have also made other provisions for these souls of these Nephilims. They created these alien bodies. Okay, these grays and these whites and whatever other, bodies they created, which I, of course, call also avatars. And they are in these, their soul now can work again for these fallen angels. Okay? These demons now can work without going into a human body. They can now again be used to do the job of the fallen angels. Now, fallen angels also depend on a human form, but I believe they can create human form and come in this world as human form. Again, they can also, of course, possess a person. But my bottom line here is that these aliens that everybody is talking about, and that we have thought that they would come from another planet, really are interdimensional beings. So they are really from other dimensions. Actually, these grays are not, and these whites are not, but whoever is creating them and controlling them are the fallen angels. The fallen angels who've been here since the beginning of time. Because when we sinned in the garden, Satan took over. Make no mistake, Satan didn't just leave. These fallen angels didn't just leave. Some were bound, but not all of them, because Satan continues to rule this world. Satan continues to rule this world from the beginning. That's why every empire, every ruler is in the hands of Satan. And if you want to know who is behind the New World Order, who is behind the beast out of the sea, the beast out of the earth, who is behind everything, it is Satan, because he's still around. And he is also using these, what we call aliens, to do his work. Okay? I am not 100% sure, but I also believe that our government, especially the government of the United States, is working with these entities. There's no doubt in my mind that our government, since the Second World War or even the First World War, I believe the Germans already worked with these aliens. And of course, the United States has also worked with these aliens. Of course, they have to, because they're in the hands of Satan, who's the dragon. So please make no mistake, these things are going on. And the more you reject this idea, in which a lot of people do, oh, alien, I've never seen any aliens, or, oh, I've never seen any UFOs, and if I haven't seen any UFOs, they must not exist. These kinds of ideas, if you do that, then you will never find out the truth. And again, aliens really exist. You just have to understand who they are and who is in control of them. And this video showed it pretty clearly, I think. It showed it pretty clearly. Matter of fact, it even says you should never contact extraterrestrials. Why? Because they're demons. Now, who in the world would want to contact demons or fallen angels? Nobody. Okay? Another thing that really falls into this category, about aliens, and that is ghosts. So many people, like we have ghost hunters, right? Ghosts are in that same category. They are manifestations of demons. See, demons, like I said, don't have a body, but they can still cause things to move around, and then or to be kind of visible like a ghost. And then, of course, we call them ghosts, or we assume that they're dead people. They are not dead people. Once a person dies, that person is gone. Okay? That person is not coming back. But that person can, but these demons can show themselves as a dead person because they have that information. So they can stage or they can fake somebody else. So I wanted to just mention that briefly. I'm not going to go into detail about haunted houses and ghosts, but they're in that same category, and they should be avoided because they're dangerous. These aliens, some say that these grays are not very smart, but they are controlled by other forces, entities that are a lot smarter, like the fallen angels. We know that they're extremely smart. They have higher technology than we do. And so they're a little higher in the food chain than we are. And so they should be feared. Simply also because we are not as familiar with other dimensions as these creatures are. When they can phase in and out of another dimension, that makes them more dangerous for us because we don't have the information they have. And that's exactly what I have come across in my studies, is that these UFOs can only be explained, this radical movement of these UFOs can only be explained that they are not from this dimension, that they can phase in and out of another dimension. So they pop here, they go to another dimension, they pop up here again. Okay, I hope you kind of understand that. So they're interdimensional phenomenon. So this is very important to understand. Very, very, very important. Because we are being deceived tremendously. And that is one of the deceptions, which also can be used to deceive people even more once we're going to have this rapture. I believe there's a connection between these aliens. And see, the government is hiding right now the fact that these aliens, I'm not going to call them aliens, but remember what I believe, they are demons. They're fallen angels. But the government knows that, of course, they're here, but they're hiding it. They don't want the public to know. Okay? So that's why only few people know about it. Few people really accept their existence. But the general public is made to believe that it is not real. There's just too many people that had experiences. But again, these experiences are very much like experience people have if they had encounters with demonic forces. That's another thing that I came across in my research. These encounters, if you compare the two, are very similar to encounters, demonic encounters, okay, that Christians would call demonic encounters. Same way, they're sneaky, if they're really smart, intelligent, outer space people or extraterrestrials, they would not have to hide. They would not have to force people or use people against their will. That's just not something that a higher intelligent being should be doing. These people are forcing people. They're doing things to these people against their will. So therefore, for me, they're not benevolent. They are pretty dangerous creatures. And they they need to be avoided. They need to be avoided because of the nature, of their nature. So, yes, do some research about aliens. The next time you come across anything about aliens, keep your mind open. Keep your mind open. Don't just say, oh no, they don't exist. They will be very instrumental at the end. Oh, I wanted to say that. See, and I got back into a different subject. They will be instrumental in the rapture, because someday they may say that these aliens took these people that were raptured. Okay? That is very possible. That is a possible explanation for all these people being missed. Okay? When the rapture happens, people are gone. Now they have to find an explanation what happened. Why are all these people gone? And they're going to say, oh, the aliens got them. Okay? The aliens got them. And so now let's unite, because the aliens are dangerous and we're going to have to do something against these aliens. Very, very possible. It is a possibility. I have heard people talk about it. I've heard people talk about it for a long time. Okay? That is a possibility they're going to use to justify the rapture. I don't know. You know, there's people that don't believe in the rapture, which is nonsense. And I have showed that so many times in my videos. That is absolute nonsense. The rapture is a real thing. The word may not be in the Bible, but the event is in the Bible. Okay? 1 Thessalonians 4 and 5. Very clearly. Very, very, very clearly. And there's another event. There's another example in Isaiah, which I always mention. And I don't remember where it is. 19 maybe. Isaiah 19:21 or something like that. 19 or 6. No, I think it's 19. Anyways, look it up. I could actually even look it up. Isaiah, let's make it 19. I don't think that's the one. Nope, that's not it. What would it be? 26? See, sometimes I cannot remember these verses either. Yeah, I think that's one. Isaiah 26. Yep, it is Isaiah 26:19. That's where it starts. And let me read that before I finish up. But your dead will live, Lord. Their bodies will rise. Let those who dwell in the dust wake up and shout for joy. Your dew is like the dew of the morning. The earth will give birth to her dead. Go, my people, enter your rooms and shut the doors behind you for a little while, until the wrath has passed by. See, the Lord is coming out of his dwelling to punish the people of the earth for their sins. Read that again, and that is definitely shows you the rapture. I will finish up. Let the Holy Spirit guide you, and I will see you in the next video.